Wuthering Heights. Introduction. A Peculiar Household. November 1801. Told by Mr. Lockwood, tenant of Thrushcross Grange. Chapter 1. A Rough Welcome. I have just returned from a visit to my landlord, the only neighbor I shall have for many miles. In all England, I don't believe I could have fixed on a country house more completely removed from society. Mr. Heathcliff and I are a suitable pair to share this loneliness. As I rode up, his black eyes stared suspiciously at me from under his dark forehead. "Mr. Heathcliff," I said. He nodded. "I am Mr. Lockwood, your new tenant at Thrushcross Grange, sir. I do myself the honor of calling as soon as possible after my arrival." He made no offer to shake hands. His fingers remained in his pocket. "Walk in." He spoke with closed teeth and continued to lean over the gate. When he saw my horse's chest pushing against it, he did take out his hand to unchain it, and then went before me up the stone path, calling as we entered the yard, "Joseph, take Mr. Lockwood's horse and bring up some wine." There must be the only one servant, I thought. No wonder the grass grows up between the stones, and cattle seem to be the only hedge cutters. Joseph seemed a disagreeable old man. "The Lord help us," he murmured in a displeased voice as he took my horse. Wuthering Heights is the name of Mr. Cliff's house. Wuthering is a local word used to describe the wildness of the weather in this lonely part of Yorkshire in time of storm. One may guess the power of the north wind blowing the over hillside by the angle of a few poorly grown trees at the end of the house, and by a row of thorn bushes all stretching their branches one way, as if beginning the warmth of the sun. The house is strongly built. The narrow windows are deeply set in the wall, and the corners defended with large stones outside. Before I entered, I paused to admire some curious ornamental stonework over the front. Above it, I saw the date 1500 and the name Harriton Earnshaw. I would have asked for a few details about the place, but the owner appeared impatient. One step brought us into the family sitting room. On the wall at one end, there was row after row of immense metal dishes with silver pots and drinking cups right up to the roof. There was no ceiling. Above the fireplace were several evil-looking guns. The floor was of smooth, white stone. The chairs were high-backed and painted green. In a corner lay an enormous dog and her young ones. Other dogs haunted other corners. The room and the furniture would have been nothing extraordinary if they had belonged to a simple Yorkshire farmer. But Mr. Heathcliff seems out of a place in his home and way of living. He is a dark-skinned gypsy in appearance, but in manners an addressed gentleman. That is, as much a gentleman as many country landowners, rather careless of his dress, perhaps, but upright and good-looking. His expression is rather severe and unsmiling. I took a seat by the fire and filled up a few minutes of silence by trying to make friends with the mother dog. "You had better leave her alone," said Heathcliff roughly, pushing the animal away with his foot, and she showed me all her teeth. Then crossing to a side door, he shouted again, "Joseph!" Joseph murmured in the room below, but gave no sign of returning. So his master dived down after him, leaving me face to face with the mother dog and a pair of sheepdogs who watched all my movements. I sat still, but I couldn't help showing my dislike of the animals, and soon the biggest licked my knees. I threw her back and got the table between us. This excited the whole three. Others came out and joined in. I was surrounded and had to call for help. Mr. Heathcliff and his men were slow to answer. Luckily, a big strong woman from the kitchen with bare arms and cheeks red from cooking rushed in and drove off the attack with a cooking pan. Heathcliff entered shortly after. "What the devil is the matter?" he asked. I gave him my opinion of his dogs. "They won't interfere with persons who touch nothing," he remarked, putting a bottle before me and putting the table back into position. "The dogs are right to be watchful. Take a glass of wine." "No, thank you." "Not bitten, are you?" If I had been, I would have left my mark on the bitter. Heathcliff laughed. Come, he said. "You are upset, Mr. Lockwood. Here, take a little wine. Guests are so rare in this house, and I and my dogs, I'm willing to admit, hardly know how to receive them. Your health, sir." I bowed, beginning to see that it was foolish to be annoyed by a lot of badly behaved dogs and feeling too unwilling to provide my host with further amusement by losing my temper. He probably realized the foolishness of offending a good tenant. He began to talk with greater politeness and on a subject that he supposed might interest me. I found him very intelligent, and before I went home, I was ready to offer another visit tomorrow. He showed me no further wish for my company, but I shall go in spite of this.